the night shift. Ethan, Lily, and Siri were the only ones working the night shift during the local festival. Normally, the office buzzed with activity during the day, but at night, the place felt eerie, silent and cold, like it was waiting for something. Flickering lights cast long shadows, and the faint creaks of the building echoed unnaturally. As the hours dragged on, the chill in the air intensified, wrapping around them like invisible fingers. Siri's phone suddenly pinged with an email. Curious, she opened it and immediately froze. "Sir, please give me more time. I'll finish it by EOD." The sender's name sent shivers down her spine. Marie. "That's impossible," Siri whispered. "Marie died last year." Lily leaned over, eyes wide. "What do you mean, died? Marie hasn't been here since..." She trailed off as she realized Siri was right. Marie had taken her own life, overwhelmed by the company's pressure, and her last shift had been right here during the night shift. A loud bang broke the silence, making them all jump. A laptop sprang to life, its screen lighting up as if someone were typing. The words flashed, "Help me." Before they could react, the lights flickered violently, and the room plunged into darkness. The emergency lights glowed red, casting everything in an ominous glow. The air turned icy, and their breaths became visible in the freezing temperature. "We need to leave," Ethan whispered, his voice trembling. They bolted toward the door, but just as they reached it, the doors slammed shut, locking them inside. Panic gripped them, and the heavy silence felt suffocating. But then from deep within the darkness came the unmistakable sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, and heavy. "What's that?" Lily whimpered, backing away. No one answered. The tension in the air thickened, every nerve on edge. Then, a figure emerged from the shadows, a decayed, pale woman, completely naked. Her orbed eyes burned like embers in the darkness, and she moved with jerky, unnatural motions. A low, guttural moan escaped her, reverberating through the room. "That's Marie," Siri gasped, her voice trembling. "She's still here." Marie took a step forward, her red eyes fixating on them with a mixture of anger and pain. The office began to shake, papers flying and chairs overturning as an invisible force took hold. The air was thick with whispers, layering over each other like 1,000 voices all speaking at once. Suddenly, Marie lunged forward, straight toward us. Lily. Before anyone could react, Marie's form merged into Lily, vanishing into her body. Lily's eyes went wide, her body convulsing violently. She collapsed to the floor, gasping for air, her limbs jerking uncontrollably. Ethan and Siri rushed to her side, but Lily's body suddenly went still, her breathing heavy and ragged. Then, without warning, Lily stood up. Her movements were stiff, unnatural, no longer her own. Her eyes, now glowing a faint red, turned toward the nearest computer. "She's inside Lily," Ethan whispered, his voice shaking. "Marie's taken her." Lily, or Marie, walked mechanically to the desk, her fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. The system came to life, the screen flashing as if some unseen force was continuing unfinished work. The mighty clicking of the keyboard echoed in the quiet room as the ghostly figure of Marie worked through Lily's body. Siri stepped forward cautiously. "Lily, can you hear me?" Lily didn't respond. Her head twitched sharply, her eyes focused only on the computer screen. As she typed, her lips moved, whispering the same phrase over and over. "Finish it, finish the work." Suddenly, the computer screen filled with lines of code, flashing wildly as though possessed. The temperature in the room dropped even further, and the whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a whirlwind of voices. Ethan grabbed Siri's arm. "We have to get her back." Siri nodded, panic rising in her chest. "But how? She's completely gone." The office shook again, lights flickering as Lily's possessed form worked faster, her fingers flying across the keyboard with unnatural speed. The main whispers began to chant, repeating the same words. "Finish it, finish her work." Desks and chairs began to move on their own, crashing into walls. The ghostly presence of Marie had taken full control, and she wasn't about to leave without completing what she had started. In a desperate move, Siri lunged toward Lily, grabbing her shoulders. "Lily, you have to fight her. You have to get her out of you." For a moment, Lily's red eyes flickered, her body trembling as if she were struggling for control. But then she let out a deep, unnatural scream, and the lights burst, plunging the room into darkness. Only the dim glow of the computer screen remained. Lily's body collapsed to the floor, motionless. Siri's heart raced. "Lily?" Just when they thought it was over, the screen flashed again. Marie's voice, twisted and hollow, echoed through the room. "It's not done." Suddenly, Lily's body jerked up, her eyes glowing brighter. Her face twisted in agony. She began typing faster and faster, her hands moving as if possessed by something far beyond human control. "We have to finish her work," Ethan realized. "That's the only way to stop this." Siri scrambled toward the desk. "What work? What does she want?" Desperate, she looked at the code flashing on the screen. Her fingers flew across the keys, trying to complete the sequence that Marie had been working on before her tragic end. As Siri typed, the shadows in the office grew darker, almost swallowing them whole. Marie's whispers turned into furious shrieks, the entire office shaking with her anger. Ethan and Siri worked together, trying to finish the code, racing against the vengeful spirit's growing power. Lily's body, still under Marie's control, fought back, her hands slamming on the desk, trying to disrupt the sequence. But just as the ghost's fury reached its peak, Siri hit the final key. The computer screen flickered and then went black. Lily collapsed once again, her body limp on the cold floor. The office fell into a heavy silence, the air no longer cold. Marie's presence had vanished. Ethan knelt beside Lily, gently shaking her. "Lily, are you okay?" Slowly, Lily's eyes opened, her own this time. What happened?" she whispered, her voice weak. As they helped Lily to her feet, the office returned to its unnatural stillness, but the sense of dread lingered. They gathered their things quickly, eager to leave the haunted place behind. A week later, the three of them decided to visit Marie's family. They arrived at her small, quiet house, feeling uneasy. As they entered, Marie's mother greeted them warmly, though the grief still lingered in her eyes. They spent hours with the family, sharing stories and offering comfort. The house was filled with memories of Marie, photos on the walls, her old room untouched. It was as if a part of her was still there, lingering in the silence. As they prepared to leave, Marie's mother pulled them aside. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. "I just hope she's found peace now." They left the house with heavy hearts, but a sense of closure had settled in. Yet as they drove away, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that Marie's story wasn't over. In the rearview mirror, he thought he saw a shadow flicker, but when he turned around, it was gone. The past still lingered, and some souls like Marie's might never truly rest. If you crave more chills, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay haunted by our newest stories. Share your thoughts, theories, and suggestions in the comments below. We'd love to hear what scares you the most. Thanks for watching, and share it with your friends if you dare. Until next time, remember, not all doors should be opened. Good night. If you crave